willing and able.
Well, I can't find it.
It was on the news.
Called the
I don't
Herb Arizal.
believe that NBC. I don't. Who?
Welcome to Garden of the Spirit, the class studying apples from the orchard. This class meets in Long Meadow, Massachusetts. Truly, the center of the universe. It's held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe, Margaret Vogel of blessed memory. How's Ruth? How's Ruth? Okay, she was a little sick today. You didn't know. Apples from the Orchard contains selections of teachings of Kabbalah from the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski. Okay, to the last four parshas, Nitzavim. Page 1003. Yes. Batting 1,000?
Oh, past 1,000.
Yeah, we're past.
You were past 1,000 last week.
All right. Alan, are you ready?
Oh, yes. And it will be when all these things come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have placed before you, and you return in your heart while amongst the peoples to whom Hashem, your Hashem, has exiled you, and you return to Hashem, your Hashem, and hearken to his voice in accordance with all that I have commanded you today, you and your children, with all your heart and soul. Then Hashem, your Hashem, will return your exiles and have mercy upon you, and he will turn to gather you amongst all these peoples, whence Hashem, your Hashem, has scattered you. Even if the scattered among you be at the ends of the heavens, Hashem, your Hashem, will gather you and take you from there. And Hashem, your Hashem, will bring you to the land that your fathers inherited, and you will inherit it, and he will do better to you and multiply more than your fathers. And Hashem, your Hashem, will circumcise your heart and the heart of your children, so that you may love Hashem, your Hashem, with all your heart and soul, for the sake of your life. And Hashem, your Hashem, will visit all these curses upon your enemies and those who hate you, who pursued you, but you will return and listen to the voice of Hashem and do all his commandments, which I have commanded you today. And Hashem, your Hashem, will multiply the work of your hands, the fruit of your womb, the fruit of your animals, and the fruit of your land. For Hashem will again rejoice in you as he rejoiced in your fathers, if you will listen to the voice of Hashem, your Hashem, to keep all his commandments and statutes written in this Sefer Torah, if you return to Hashem, your Hashem, with all your heart and soul.
Okay?
Yes. In Parshas Nitzavim, Moshe addresses the Jewish people, exhorting them to follow Hashem's commandments. The above quoted 10 verses of this address are a section by themselves, and in them, the name Havaya, here indicated by the word Hashem in boldface, occurs 14 times. The text of these verses seems to be redundant in places, but the Arizal will demonstrate that this is not so. This section consists of 10 verses, each of which contain the name Havaya. Some verses contain this name twice, such as that this name occurs 14 times in all. The numerical value of this name is 26. Thus, the numerical value of all 14 names is 364. We are thus lacking the number 6 if we wish to reach the sum 370.
Hold on. I got lost. When it said this.
This? Oh, way back in the beginning.
Okay.
Back here?
Yes, we just read
So
this.
each pasuk has Hashem's name at least once.
Correct.
Some have them twice, and it's a total of
14.
Okay. Hold on.
Numerical value of 26.
14 times
And 14,
14
times
times
26
26
is
364.
is 364. Okay.
So we're lacking 6 to reach 370.
Oh,
And,
it's just
and
a-
what is 370?
370? What is 370? Yeah. It doesn't mention 370
No,
before this.
but
It's
it
just-
does in the note.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. That's the
Okay,
question.
the Hebrew is missing, lacking the number 6.
What do you mean the numbers?
It says we are thus lacking the number 6.
Where?
It does say
Yeah,
that
we
in
are
English.
lacking 6. So the number 6.
It's that is
Yeah.
missing from the Hebrew. See what I'm saying? That clause is not in the
Well,
Como, correct?
yes, that's all. Just the comma. um,
oh, okay.
I don't know if it's actually missing from the text, an oversight, or
No,
if that's just what that is the accurate.
that's what it is.
How do you know?
Because 14 times.
But it's missing from the Hebrew. It doesn't say it in the Hebrew.
But because that's not the whole thing.
In the Hebrew, it does not say we're lacking 6.
Reach 370.
It says to reach 370, but it doesn't say we're lacking 6.
Oh,
So I don't know, and I don't know if that's actually missing from the Hebrew,
I don't know.
or if they deleted it by mistake, or it's
Or it's
implied.
implied.
In
It's
which case we are thus lacking number 6 should not be in bold.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Don't know.
Let me just fill this in. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
370 is the number of lights that shine from the face of Arahanpin, as discussed previously on Parshat Bamidbar Naso. These verses discuss Hashem's forgiveness, which originates in the parts of Arahanpin, Hashem's will to create and sustain creation in general, and the Jewish people in particular. So it is to be expected that number 370 be encoded.
Why is it expected that the number 370 be
Because that's
encoded?
the number of lights that shine from the face of our Hanpin.
Which give forgiveness,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Oh. The missing 6 are derived as follows. In the phrase, and Hashem your Hashem will multiply the work of your hands, the fruit of your womb, the fruit of your animals, and the fruit of your land. Fruit of your animals? The expression the fruit of occurs 3 times. There are 3 yuds in these expressions.
Yes,
The word for the fruit of peri is spelled pei resh yud. The letter yud is the sign of the construct form. The threefold expression of Hashem's blessing is taken as an emphatic statement of the forgiveness these verses describe.
Hold on. What is construct? I can tell you what the yud is in plain English, but I don't know what construct is. Where's our Mr. Language person?
Of the construct form?
Okay.
Construct,
It says
constructive.
No, it says
No,
construct form.
The grammatical thingy. Grammatically, just
No,
grammatically
he's
speaking.
looking for a word.
It's kabbalistically. Yes, go ahead. That's not in grammar. In grammar, the fun. I'm saying just in simple, plain English. In grammar, the yud over here stands for the word of. Of. What? So in Hebrew, it has a special name in Hebrew. In Hebrew, it's called shaychut. Yeah. Stands for the word of, or the Hebrew word shell. It says, "Pri vitnecha." Pri is the fruit, the produce of. your womb. Pri al-masucha, the product or fruit of your animals. Pri al-masucha, the produce of your land. So it is the word of.
All right.
The letter Yud is in. But obviously here,
This is
Rudy,
helpful. That of a noun used before another which has the genitive relation to it.
what relation?
Genitive.
Genitive?
Genitive.
Yes, no, yeah.
That really, that,
Huh? Smichut.
but
Smichut, it, when you say in English, it's a possessive.
okay.
The, the, it's possessive. It is the word, the Hebrew word shell. In English, you say the top of the table. So top of the table, you change it, you construct. And bottom of the table. And so on and so forth. It's that word of. It's a contracted form. There are two forms, just like you have in English. You can say the tabletop, or you can say the top of the table. In Hebrew, it's the yud turns it into the short form. Pre.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah. Or produce or product of. Yeah. Well, par is a bovine. No. But when they say multiply, fruitful and multiply, that's to be fruitful, actually. No, but it's bovine, because bovines are productive. Maybe. Possibly. In actually Hebrew, in this form, the noun doesn't change. You don't have to change or add.
Oh, free, and then it comes to you. See, free, 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 and then
What can
the pre is here.
No. In Hebrew, the singular form, the word doesn't change. Like you have Keser is a crown. Keser Torah is the crown of Torah. The word doesn't change.
Free, I'm an ignorant, so it goes
Hey,
pay, ray, but the I is here, and then it comes to you. You're pronouncing the I from here, you signifies word, the fruit of. I haven't.
But even without
No,
that, it's
Vipri
guys. Let's go on.
These three yuds form one of the 72 names of Hashem. The reader should review here in our comments on Parshas Shalach regarding how these 72 names are formed from three consecutive verses in that Parsha. When the three 72-letter verses are aligned, the 22nd triplet or name is Yud Yud Yud, three yuds in a row.
Do you all remember that from Bashalach? Rudy remembers.
He remembers. I'll admit it, I don't remember.
We went
So
to
that's
that.
it's about,
You remember it?
just about
Okay.
4 years ago. Then
So
what?
I had dinner.
Okay, shall I repeat?
You're on the air.
We have a good
That one.
ouch. We have fun here.
Yeah.
We know in this class that the strongest, um, the strongest emanation or way of Hashem's name is the one that adds up to 72, right? Out of the four that we usually have. There are others, by the way. The four that we usually have, so the strongest is 72. That shows that godliness is shining in its full force. In Parshas B'Shalach, where when Hashem splits the sea, there are 3 consecutive verses, each having 72 letters. Okay? Very unusual. What we understand this to mean, first of all, is that the miracle of splitting the sea took the divine energy with full force of 72 and again 72 and again 72. What? Not 63, not 45, not 52, but
Right.
this is it. This is what we're talking about. So now, not in Arizal, not in Zohar, but where? In the Gemara. Not openly in the Gemara, but in Rashi in the Gemara. Rashi explains Sukkah. Now you want to know which page? Mem Vav, Mem Zion. I'll explain that next. I'll go there. Huh? So it took 3 of the 72. So to make the Kriyas Yamsuf happen, to make the sea split. Rashi explains that the first pasuk you line up right to left. Fine. The second pasuk you line up left to right. And then the third pasuk you line up right to left again. Each one has 72. What you're left with is 72 columns and 3 rows. Right? Everyone can picture that?
Mm-hmm.
3 rows, 72 columns.
Mm-hmm.
The first and the third are right to left, and the middle one is left to right. And then, when you read each column down, that is a combination of Hashem's name that Rudy just mentioned. Okay, now, every column going down.
3 and 3.
And every column has the name. A name, B name. All of them.
Now,
You showed before.
okay, so this isn't Kabbalah. I mean, it's not in a Kabbalah book. It's in Rashi on the Gemara. Open up to 326. And Rudy, here's why it's Gemara of Sukkah. Actually, open up to 244. Let's start with 244. And this is the hollow.
Yep.
In hollow, it says at the bottom, and obviously this is taken from Tillim. Ana Hashem Hoshiana. Ana means please. We implore you, please. It's a very nebulous word. Meanings of us. And then Hashem Hoshiana, deliver us. Rabbi Yehuda, I think, says that this is when they carry the Hoshinas. They carry the Hoshinas, they walk around the bima. So the first opinion says they would say Ana Hashem Hoshiana. Rabbi Yehuda says no. They said Ani Vahu Hoshiana. So now let's open up to 328. 3:28. Made a mistake before. What does it say here in bold? Ani vahu Hoshiana. What does that mean? Ani does not mean I am over here. Usually it does. Vahu usually means and he. That's not what it means here. What does it mean here?
We.
No. Do you remember I said before?
No?
Do you remember? I need your attention on this one. Remember I said before that there were 72 columns?
Yeah.
And each one has a combination of Hashem's name? So there's two halves, 1 to 36 and 37 to 72. Combination 37 is Ani, Aleph Nun Yud. So that's a combination of Hashem's name. Yes, that's a combination. Vahu is the first one. Ani is the 37th column, and Vahu is the first column. So these are two out of the 72 combinations. Which ones? Number 37 and number 1.
Okay.
What?
Well, 37 is not the first one after half.
Yes, 37 is the first of the second half. So these are not. You have the chart here, Rudy? I tried to make it a few times, but it's okay. Good. You want to pass it around? I like a picture of it, Rudy, as 72. We can do 72 columns side by side. It didn't fit on the page.
Home. Cards. These. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see. It's a post. It's 72 name poster.
Yeah.
You can buy the 72 name poster.
Okay. So why is the 37 column first, and why is the first one? Other reasons why we do it like that. But Rabbi Yehuda says, instead of saying Ana Hashem Hoshiana, he says you would say Ani Vahu Hoshiana. What's the gematria? Wait. What's the gematria of Ani Hashem, of Ani Vahu?
60, 67, 72, 78.
78. What's the gematria of Ana Hashem? From the hollow? 26, 27, 28, 78. They have the same gematria. Remember, when you add Hashem's name, it's Yud Yud. It's really 26.
Right.
So they also the gematria is the same too. So this is the Rashi in the Gemara Sukkah. Because when they would walk around with the Arava, they would go around the Mizbeach. According to the Tanakama, they would say Ana Hashem Oshiana. I think according to Yehuda, they would say Ani Vahu Oshiana. So Rashi's explanation on Ani Vahu. So when you have this, the 22nd column is Yud Yud Yud. All right, 1005.
Me or
Okay, go ahead.
the verse also alludes to the name Yud Lamed Yud, inasmuch as these letters are the initials of the word for God will again rejoice. Yashuv, Yud, K, Vav K, Vasu.
Lasuz Alecha Lato. Does he have a footnote on that?
No footnote. I see.
No, so that is That is what we read, what Alan read at the beginning as the introduction. Is it says when I think it says that that you'll go into exile and Hashem will bring you back, and He will rejoice with you again. Where?
4. Hashem will
As He rejoiced in your fathers.
fruit of the land for Hashem will rejoice.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's it.
So there, it's a little bit out of order because over there it's Yud Yud Lamed,
Yeah.
and here in the names it's Yud Lamed Yud. It's like they sing like Yalai Yalai Yali. I told him that it's one of the names of Hashem. The guy who sings the song, he got a little excited.
Okay.
It's the second of the 70.
This is the second of 72.
It's the second one.
Second one.
It's Yud Lamed Yud.
So, these two names together possess 6 letters, bringing the total number associated with the names of God in this passage to 370, which is the number of lights penitent individual merits to elicit upon himself from above. Going back to forgiveness. These lights are the 370 lights that shine from the face of Erech Anpin in accordance with the mystical meaning of He will again have mercy on us. The 2 cheeks, this goes with the hair. The 2 cheeks are stated in the Zohar.
You want to take this?
Sure.
Consider again. One for me, one for you. Page. Is it here? Page 15 at the bottom. Second line from the bottom on 15. In Hebrew, it's the second line from the bottom. Yashuv Yerachamenu. In English, 3 lines from the bottom. He will again show us mercy. And that is the 2 cheeks and the 370. It corresponds to the 370 lights that shine. Okay, I just wanted to show you where that quote is from.
The 13 attributes of divine mercy appear in 2 forms in the Bible. A more prevalent form is given fully in Exodus 34:7, mighty, merciful, and gracious, long-suffering, abundant kindness and truth, storing kindness to thousands, bearing iniquity, transgression, and sin, acquitting. This form is repeated in abbreviation several of other times. The second form is that given Micha, which is 7:18 to 20. Who is a God like you, who pardons iniquity, who forgives a transgression of the remnant of his heritage? He does not mention his anger forever because he delights in kindness. He will again have mercy on us. He will suppress our iniquity. He will cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. He will show truth to Jacob, kindness to Abraham, as you have sworn to our fathers from the days of old.
Open the Siddur to page 295. Okay, 295 we have Tashlif, and in regular text is the second form from the book of Micha. Mi el kamocha nosei avon v'ro peshe lishes nachlaso v'chazik laraboki chavis chesed hu, and so on. And in both the Hebrew and the English, they're numbered 1 to 13,
Right.
1 to 9.
1 to 13 first.
No,
1
1
to
to 13.
13, and then
And
1
1
to
to 9.
9.
So
1 to
1 to
13 first.
yeah, and then and above it in
Yeah.
small print is the
Right.
13 attributes as we're familiar with. Lord, Hashem, benevolent God, compassionate, gracious, and so on. Okay, so we actually have both forms here.
Both together. As we explained previously, the divine attribute of forgiveness and mercy is indicated in Kabbalah by the beard. These 13 attributes of mercy then correspond to 18 parts of the beard. The correspondence between both versions of the beard is as follows. Number one, mighty, and who is godlike to you, it's the sideburns, merciful, pardons iniquity, mustache, gracious, forgives the transgression, lack of hair in the middle of the mustache, long, of the remnant of his heritage, the hair under the lower lip, suffering, does not maintain his anger forever, lack of hair in the middle of the hair under the lower lip, abundant in kindness, delights in kindness, hair of the jawbone, in truth, he will again have mercy on us, the lack of hair of the cheeks, storing kindness, he will suppress our iniquities, the upper layer of the beard. Okay? 9. To thousands, 1 to 13. You will cast all their sins into the depths of the sea, short hairs between the upper and lower layers of the beard, bearing iniquity. You will show truth to Jacob, the small hairs near the throat, and transgression, kindness to Abraham, the fact that these small hairs are of equal size, sin as you have sworn to our fathers, the lack of hair in the mouth, and acquits from the days of old the lower layer of the beard.
Amazing, I know where he finds this one.
So what concerns us here is that the uh, 70th attribute part of the beard. 70th attribute. Seventh attribute part of the beard. 7. We're number 7. And truth.
Seventh attribute.
Yeah, and truth. He will have mercy on us. The lack of beard. I'm just looking at the
Yeah,
7th.
7 was in truth.
And truth. 7. Okay? Okay. In Micah, he will have mercy on us. So it's the mercy piece. On Micah, going back to the forgiveness. Okay? So what concerns there is the 7th attribute part of the beard. At least from the Micah version, this is the specific attribute of mercy. Okay. It is associated with the part of the beard that is actually not part of the beard because the lack of beard hair are the cheeks. Right. As we've experienced, the overall meaning of hair is a highly concentrated but contracted form of life force, as evidenced by the dual fact that hair is constantly growing but can be cut without causing pain. The beard overall, thus, is a contraction of life force flowing from the head or mind into the body, bypassing the usual channel of the throat, etc. It thus signifies God's great mercy bypassing the usual rules He has set up for creation and granted us mercy and forgiven us. Within the general context of the beard, which basically covers the entire face, there are 2 cheeks. If we consider them part of the beard as well, they signify the revelation within the opulation, so to speak. The light or glow or expression shining from the face is obstructed by the beard, except for this part of the visage that is free of hair. In the cheeks, then, all the emotion expressed in the face, but covered by the beard, can be seen. As we said, the light shining from the face is the goodwill of forgiveness. This must be largely transmuted into the contracted form of hair in order to be able to reach the sinner in a form can assimilate. But the exception is the cheek. the one part of the face remains uncovered in order to express most fully God's mitigated will.
I thought we had maybe 5 years ago, but I thought we talked about the seventh one.
We did have that, but
and I thought there was Nozer Chesed, that he stores kindness. I thought we said it was the seventh. Was that it? And it was Sarah who was told us. I guess we'll have to wait till we get there again. Next time around, we'll be able to check. Storing kindness, acquits, page 133. Mazel, it says right here, Gershon. You hit it.
You know why?
he brought the what?
I what?
Oh,
Remember
the
that?
lamp he brought. Yeah, yeah.
You're-
He brought a prop.
No.
No.
That was BA before Allen.
All right. So
Page 133.
yeah. Right.
Storing kindness, but I guess it was number 8.
You got 8 here, not 7.
Yeah, same thing. No, it's the same chart, what I'm saying.
No, but you still 7 is still lack of hair on the cheek.
Right.
Which is exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah, same thing. It's the same chart.
Okay. And
Yes.
right here, 7 and truth. 7 is and truth. He will have mercy upon us. Okay, and this is lack of hair in the cheeks. And that is mercy. That is forgiveness.
Right.
So it's exactly the same, I think. I don't
Yep.
think it is 8. I
But
think it's
what
7.
were we? I guess I think our.
I think that's a different piece. That's more of that's the kindness. That's more chesed. This is forgiveness. This is mercy.
Okay.
The other is
focusing
chesed.
on the 7th or on the 8th then. When
I-
we learned this.
I don't remember which one we focused on. Hold on a second. Storing kindness, it's right here. Okay. All right. So we talked about the word for storing kindness may be permuted to spell the word for will.
I think our. I think
Okay.
that the discussion centered around
Around
storing
will,
kindness.
because we talked about will.
Yeah.
We talked will was the issue. And then mazel is on 132 at the bottom. Is talking about. Storing kindness. These are the attributes of storing kindness, and it quits. 13. So you have that piece, but the chart's the same. 7. Oh boy. And
Okay.
that's yeah. This is forgiveness. This is forgiveness. It goes back to the forgiveness uh, of the lights.
370 lights.
Yeah, which is 370, which is forgiveness.
It's 14 times 26 plus another 6.
Plus the yud, yud, yud.
2 names of Hashem. Yud 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 and the
The
Yud
parsha
Lamed
is in
Yud.
Toldot.
Yeah.
Toldot.
5 years, Rudy. All right, ready to go on?
Okay.
Yeah, 1006, number 2.
This commandment that I command you this day is not too wonderful for you or too far away. Arizal discusses the mystical dynamics of performing the command. There are 2 types of spiritual coupling that we effect by performing Hashem's commandment. These are the couplings of Abba and Ima and the coupling of Zerampin and Nukba. There are also 2 corresponding types of commandments, active commandments and passive. These are generally known as positive commandments, do's, and negative commandments, don'ts.
Or active commandments and prohibitions.
Correct. As you know, our sages point out that the numerical value of my name plus that of the letter Yud Hey equals 365. while the numerical value of my remembrance plus that with two letters Vav Hey equals to 48.
All right. Look this up.
You look it up.
I know.
What are you going to look up?
Huh? I'll show you.
Okay.
No, dude, about that. We get the one.
Yeah, sure. Definitely not voracious.
That's very patient. I just wanted from the beginning. Give me from the beginning.
I mentioned in
If I
Shalom,
were to write the story.
in next March. Okay, what is this? This is that gone? It's all no, chapter Gimel. Chapter 3 of Shmos. Hashem appears to Moshe for the first time from a bush that is burning and it's not consumed. Chapter 3 of Shmos. So Hashem appears to Moshe. Page 302 and 303. And so Hashem appears to Moshe. Moshe said, go free the people. So Moshe's no dummy. What does he say? Yeah. To say they're going to tell me who sent me, and ask me to send me. I need to know your name. So what do you think he was asking? Everyone knows Hashem's name. He's asking Hashem to teach him all the secrets of the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey. So Hashem explained to him. Hashem said, among the answer, what? 304. Hashem said that even though this is my name, it will be mentioned differently. It won't be pronounced this way. My name is the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey, but that's not how we pronounce it. We pronounce it usually like the Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud. So it's going to be written one way, but read or mentioned, pronounced a different way. Pasuk Tesvav, and the word, the end of Tesvav, Zeh Shmi La'olam. This is my name for all times. V'zeh Zichri L'dar. And this is my memory. I'll be remembered, or how it's going to be pronounced. Because in Hebrew, the same word that is remember is also mentioned. Yes. So the word for all times, my name for all times, La'olam, can also be read La'olam, hidden, concealed. This is my name that remains concealed. We know the letters. We don't know the vowels. I mean, in the old days they knew it. But basically, when we daven, we don't pronounce it. We pronounce something else. So the two pivotal words here are Shmi, my name, and Zichri, how it's pronounced. So Shmi is, let's take a look at Shmi. It's on the line that says Tezayin. It's at the end of Pasuk 15. Shin is how much? 300. Mem is 40. And Yud is 10. 350. And the first two letters of Hashem's name, Yud and the Hey, 15. 350 and 15 makes 365. Then this is how it's mentioned. Zichri. Zion is 7. Chaf is 20. Resh is 200. And Yud is 10. 7, 20, 200, 10. Put them together, and what do you got? 237. The last two letters of Hashem's name. Vav and Hey. 6 and 5. 11 and 237. 248. So when it says my name,
That's 365, the number of prohibitions. And when it says pronounced or mentioned, and it's 237 plus the last two letters, 248, the number of active.
As well.
Oh, you have a lot.
That's
A lot of places.
Somehow. Yeah. That's just
The
another
parts of the
episode.
body.
The 248 are the limbs of the body.
Mhm.
It's mentioned, they are counted in the Mishnah of Ahalos, tense, and the Art Scroll Mishnayos goes through the bones and how they're counted and correlates them or compares them to how they're counted nowadays in science.
Think be one way to get to certain numbers.
Three.
I mean, come on.
No, there's 248 limbs.
I know, no. I'm saying
No,
there's
this-
another way of getting.
Yeah.
Only one way.
Then
Come on.
365 is obviously the number of days, the
Mhm.
solar calendar.
Right.
They're also the number of giddim in the body. What are giddim? We usually translate it as sinews. However, in most places, I see the Art Scroll does not translate it. I would say perhaps muscles. I'm not even sure what sinews are. But I would say 365 muscles. But how we count those and exactly what giddim are is not clear. It's absolutely not clear. There's no Mishnah that counts it like the bones of the body. So even the Art Scroll does not translate. They just write giddim.
There's tissue uniting muscle to bone, or bone to bone, a
Another
tendon or ligament.
another nebulous translation. So
have ACL.
yeah, in AOC, everything.
But it's a matter of strength
U.S.
and sinews, and the sinew strengthens and strengthens us.
Other places, in
Keeps
other
us
places,
together by dealing with the prohibition. Keeps us together.
in other
That's what I'm
places,
saying.
gid is either tough or bitter, and it refers to wormwood.
It also
Wormwood, or something like wormwood.
it means
Dr. Science, would like to tell us what's
it can
wormwood.
mean strength. It can mean gevurah. Strength. Like gevurah. It says strength. Sinew. Muscle,
sinew
of course,
is-
can also mean
sinew.
strength. It's a word. I'm just pointing it out. Commonly known, blah blah blah. So it's a strengthening.
Or- Or the bitterness or toughness toughness of wormwood.
Yeah.
And what's another thing for wormwood? Help me out. Like wormwood.
Like wormwood.
Can look on it.
Hmm?
On it.
I can look it up if I have to. It's a drink. It's a drink I think that's actually outlawed.
Is it absent?
Absinthe. Thank you.
Absent.
Oh, Artemisia absinthium.
Argentinian?
Absinthium.
No,
Absinthium.
The Absinthium
it's from
Argentinian.
France. Yeah,
I
it's a
think
wormwood. It's
I think it's actually illegal here.
Yeah, because it's a
Canada.
it's a hallucinogenic. It's a
He just said
halluc.
it in Canada.
It's a drink that people used to drink in Paris historically in the 20s and whatever. They got you high essentially. It was a drug. But they drink it in the cafes. It was a narcotic.
I know.
So
Fennel?
1912.
what? Absinthe.
In the U.S.
So I'm not sure if absinthe is related to wormwood or if it's a. Okay.
But people would drink it. I mean, lots of people.
Never had it.
Actually mentioned twice, at least twice in the Torah.
Yeah.
That I can think of.
Wormwood.
Absinthe or wormwood or both, or they're combined, or some Chumash will translate like this and like that. And that is, how did we get into this?
there were people who would drink it.
I don't know, Van Gogh, you mean?
Van Gogh?
Probably.
Yeah,
Some, but it's
Gid. So some places, so gid could mean either absinthe or I think wormwood. Is also another thing for gid. Hashem spoke to the Jewish people at Mount Sinai, so he spoke gently to the women first, and then he spoke to the men. It uses the word visaged. So one explanation is that it's referring to the word gid, which is like serving them wormwood.
metaphor.
That's what we get.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, so let's finish this up.
There are 613 commandments in
So
Torah.
go back and do as you know.
As you know, our second points out that the numerical values of mind plus the letters of Yud equals 365, while the numerical value of my remembrance plus the last two letters of Vav equals 48. There are 630 commandments in the Torah, 365 of which are passive or negative or prohibitions, and 248 which are active. When Moshe was experiencing the first revelation of Hashem in the burning bush, Hashem told him, "Thus shall you say to the Israelites, Bayach, the God of our fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, send me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my remembrance for all generations." Hashem thus refers to the name Havaya as my name and my remembrance.
We don't have.
So the word for my name is Shemi, and the word for my remembrance is Sichri. Shemi is 350, and Sichri, as we did that before, 237. The numerical value of the first two letters of the Havaya, okay, and plus 515. And this is added to the numerical value of the word for my name, 350. The sum is 365, the number of passive commandments or prohibitions. The letters Yud Hey, in addition to being the first two letters of the name Havaya, are themselves the name of Hashem, Ka. So, yeah, the names Yud Hey, in addition to being the first two letters of the name Havaya, are themselves the name of Hashem, Ka. So the word my name plus Yud Hey can be read as the phrase my name, Ka. The numerical value of the second two letters of the name Havaya, Vav Hey, 6 plus 5, 11. When this number is added to the numerical value of the word for my remembrance, 237, the sum is 248, the number of active commandments. Positive for us. Numbers Vav Hey are not a name of Hashem, just a remembrance of the name Havaya.
We don't have the word.
The word for my remembrance plus letters Vav Hey can thus be seen as the phrase my remembrance Vav Hey. Thus, the active commandments are associated with the second half of the name Havaya, and the passive commandments with the first half. Stop here.
Let's do a little bit more.
By this, they meant that the passive commandments are dependent upon the two letters Yud-Hey, Ava and Ima. These are the
First two letters.
the prohibition.
The prohibition. My name.
Yeah.
Not my remembrance. That's good.
And the active commandments are dependent upon the two letters Vav Hey, which is their Ampin and Nukva.
Remember, the four letters of Hashem's name, the first letter is Abba, second letter is Ima, third letter is there Anpin, and the fourth letter is Nukva.
Those we don't know.
We don't know what?
The name, the remembrance, the active commandments.
We don't know the vowels
for
Hashem's name.
Right.
So we don't know how to pronounce. The olden days they did know it.
Right. Now we don't.
Okay.
How old?
I don't know before you were born, maybe when you were a little boy.
No, we're talking about
In the time of the Beis Hamikdash.
first, second.
I thought you were making a joke.
No, I was.
So I apologize.
No,
In the
I was
time of the Beis
thinking-
Hamikdash, even the second one,
Okay.
yeah, they would do the blessing, the Birkas Kohanim.
Yeah.
And they would say, pronounce Hashem's name, Yivrachacha, Hashem, V'yishmerecha.
As they scattered everything else.
What they did was, also, just a minute, also, on Yom Kippur,
Mm-hmm.
the Kohen Gadol would take the animal, bullock,
Mhm.
and he would say the confession on it.
Mm-hmm.
So he would say, I have sinned, and so on, like we read on Yom Kippur. And then he would quote the verse in the Torah, Lifnei Hashem Titaru. Before Hashem, you will be purified, and he would pronounce Hashem's name the proper way, the right way. And then what eventually, at first, they would only teach it every 7 years, just in order to make it more grandeur and give it more mystique. But then, when people didn't treat the name properly, so they hid it, and the Kohanim the Levium, and the music would get very loud, and the Kohen Gadol would say it softly, so that people wouldn't overhear it. So that's for sure the second base on Mikdash. I didn't get that. Yeah, I did see a few months ago in the Shalah that he writes what the vowels were for Hashem's name. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I didn't remember. I don't remember what it was. But I did see there, and he writes what the vowels are for Hashem's name. I happen to be very, very fluent in Hebrew grammar. I have an idea, just something on what it could be, why it's like that. Why these vowels? I have an explanation why it would be these vowels. It's just I might be totally off the mark. It's just a feeling that I have, but I'm not going to share that with anybody,
especially us.
Especially if there was anyone, it would be with this group. But that's not something. It's just an idea that I have in my head. I say just my familiarity. Hebrew grammar is one of my strengths. And I just from familiarity with it, I kind of have a hunch about it. In any case, let's do the just the bold till the end of the page.
Yeah.
Well, we did say, remember, there are two couplings. There's Abba and Ima, Chachman Bina, and then there's Zerampin and Nukva, parents and the children. Yud and the Hey is Abba and Ima, and here we're connecting it with the prohibitions. Vav and the Hey is Zerampin and Nukva, and here we're connecting it with the active commands. So just do the bolds.
When a person performs a command, he expects both types of coupling. This is because the first two letters of the word for commandment, mitzvah, mem tzadik, transform via atbash to yud hey, which signifies the coupling of Abba and Ima.
So by a code, mitzvah, mem tzadik, can be decoded or replaced by yud and hey, the first two letters of Hashem's name, which we said is for the.
Atbash is the most common.
Go to the next.
Go to the bold.
The coupling is accomplished by observing the passive commandments as alluded to by the fact that the numerical value for the word my name plus that of the two letters K equals as the stated.
So the first two letters correspond to the prohibitions.
Explain the numerical value of the word for my name.
Let's stop here.
All right.
Next time, guys, we'll start from the bottom of 1007.
Yeah, let's please, because we got to go back.
Yeah, we're going to go back to this.
Really?
If you want to look in Chumash, page 1089, top line.
Everything he said here. Yes, right. But it's just what he had said when we were talking about it. It's the exact. That's why he went fast. It's the exact same things that we talked about and explained with adding letters. That's why he went over it quickly, because it's the exact same thing he'd already said.
I know, but I
want to look quickly, page 1089, top line. Perhaps there is among you a root flourishing with gall and wormwood.
Yep.
Oh, for eat? Or
wormwood? I don't know. I don't think you want to eat it. On the top. Perhaps there's among you a root flourishing with gall and wormwood. Then Curiosity is like a root that grows and grows, begins with a desire to learn about the abominations of Canaan, but the root will flourish and produce heresies that are as bitter and harmful as gall and wormwood. Turn to page 1107, 32, 1107, verse 32. For their vineyard is from the vineyard of Sodom, and from the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall. So clusters of bitterness were given them. Their grapes were grapes not of wrath, but of gall. Charles de Gaulle. Okay, and I think that's the only that's first mentioned. Gall? Something related to it. Yeah. Thank you, Rudy. Okay.